Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen. You thought I was done for the night? Nah, we got a third live stream. We got a third live stream for you right now. I have not sent the link out for the mock drafts, but I'll tell you how you can join. But first, I think there's only about 18 of us in here, but can you show your boy some love? I feel like we should have 18 likes. Just because this is my third live stream today. I think my 11th in the past 3 days. I've been grinding my ass off for you. So, show some love. Drop a like for your boy. And, yeah, you can see the poll. Maybe I should get Severed for work. Has anyone seen Severance, by the way? Such a good show. If I get Severed for work, then it won't even matter. But I think I would prefer to be the one severed. Anyway, okay, so steps if you would like to join today's mock draft. The third mock draft of the night. Here's how you need to do it, okay? Step 1, in the description, there is a link to join our Discord, okay? So make sure you join our Discord. That is the first step. Now, once you're in our Discord, there is a tab called Dynasty Damn It. And then there is a text channel that says Dynasty Mock Drafts. That is where I will be sending the link. Now, if you're here with us and you've already been able to do a mock draft tonight, it would be great if you could let some other people get in. Because, you know, that would be, you know, the nice thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and set up a draft for us now. So let's go ahead and I'll transition screens. And let me go ahead and start this. It's not a startup. It's a rookie draft. It is linear. In case any of you guys ever want to do these on your own. Rookie only. Update. Roster settings. All we got to do is get rid of all of these. And then add 3 of these bad boys. All right. So if you ever want to do one on your own, now you know how it should look. Okay. So Caleb says, what's up? Where's Badaki? Badaki is currently in Fiji. He's on his holiday. On a holiday. Appreciate you, Ian. Kyle says, hit the like on all the videos today. I love it, Kyle. You just hadn't sent the link yet. That's what threw me off. No worries, bro. Briar, I'm so glad you commented, man. I saw the sign up. I'm gonna send you a message here after this next live stream. I'm gonna do a couple admin things. I'm gonna send you a message, okay? So be on the lookout, bro. I really appreciate you signing up, and we will give you some information about the leagues. All right. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and send the link, guys. Here is the link for the rookie draft. Again, if you've already been in a draft today, please, even if it's the startup or the rookie one, just take a little break so everyone can get a chance. But here we go. I'm sending the link in 3, 2, 1. And we'll see how this fills up here. All right, it's filling up a lot slower, so hopefully people are getting a chance. Awesome. All right, guys. So thanks for joining. I see some new people in the chat. Rappin' Dog, the link is in Discord, brother. Did you join Discord? Because that is step 1, is joining the Discord. Step 2 would be to make sure that you have a sleeper account. But don't worry, man. We got more mocks coming, okay? So do not fear. There will be more mocks on the way, but at least we get to hang out for one last stream and have a look at these rookie drafts together. All right, so there will be 2 minutes on the clock. You can obviously make whatever picks that you think are right, and then I will pause the draft at certain points to share my thoughts on picks that have been made. Okay, so here we go. 2 minutes on the clock. May the odds ever be in your favor. Yeah. You're in the Discord, Rapid Dog, then you should have been able to see it. The link I at everyone. It's under the Dynasty Damn It text channel and then the Dynasty Mock Draft channel. Marvin says, I need to make an account. Yep. Definitely make an account, brother. It'll be easy for you to get in. Super Panda Bear says, did the Patriots have the worst draft of all time? Because in my opinion, it was awful. 2 running backs and a quarterback. Yeah, that didn't really make much sense, did it? I don't really understand the Patriots drafts, but the Patriots are going to do whatever they want to. They took a guard that everyone had like a 3rd round draft grade on. I forgot to even join this mock. That's so funny. I forgot to join. Well, I'll be watching. This will be the last mock draft of the night. Last mock draft of the night. So show your boy some love. Drop a like for me. And let's quickly talk about this. All right, so the first 6 picks, we see Breece Hall go at the 101. I would say Breece Hall is unequivocally the 101. Lock him in my opinion, in every single format, okay? Every single format that you're in, Breece Hall should be the 101. I like the landing spot. I'm not really too worried about Michael Carter. He will have a role, but it won't be enough for me to really be worried about Breece Hall's rookie year. I think he steps in, he gets a bunch of workload from day one. Drake London at the 1-2. Drake London probably and Treylon Burks both have the most clear target share coming into the league, right? Drake London, Kyle Pitts is there. I feel like he's just there to kind of help complement him. So he's going to get a good amount of target share. Same with Treylon Burks. AJ Brown is now gone. They brought in Sky Moore. Am I muted? Am I muted? Quote Nation says, is it muted or is it just me? Let me know if I am muted. But you bring in Kyle Phillips. Sorry, not Sky Moore. You bring in Kyle Phillips, and I think Treylon Burks is going to get a ton of targets. So I actually am taking Treylon Burks as a first wide receiver right now. But again, I do need to take the entire weekend to really, you know, digest everything and fully have my thoughts out there. Jameson Williams at the 1-3. I love me some Jameson Williams. I'm not upset about that. Garrett Wilson at the 1-5, and then Kenneth Walker. I really do like Kenneth Walker's landing spot. Again, you know, I'll say it. A lot of people were worried about this, but I'm not. There's no long-term running back there. Rashad Penny doesn't have his 5th-year option. They declined that. So Chris Carson with the neck injury, and Kenneth Walker joins a team who historically has been a really, really good run team. So I think this makes a lot of sense for Kenneth Walker, and I like his landing spot. So I definitely think if you need a running back, don't be afraid to draft Kenneth Walker in these startup drafts. And we'll see what Patty Mills does here. All right, everyone can hear me? All right, cool. Thanks, guys, for joining. If you haven't dropped a like, show your boys some love. Strange and Thornton make some sense. I agree, Kyle. I think they make sense. I just feel like they were probably overdrafted. Ravens Chiefs had the best draft in real life, not fantasy. Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs got much better on defense. The Chiefs got much, much better on defense. And the Ravens, I mean, same thing. They just took best player available for most of their picks. Kyle says, how hard should I push for the 101 if I have Carter? Or just live with the hurt value? I think the answer is always what will it cost? So I think what the first step would be is to find out what the cost is. Wow. And then we can decide if it's worth what it would cost to move up to the 101. What's up, Jake? Yes, this is Superflex, brother. So I'll say this. As far as Kenny Pickett, I think he is the only quarterback that should be going in the first round after the draft capital we saw for the rest of the quarterbacks. And I think you can make a case for Kenny Pickett anywhere from the 1-5 onwards. Okay? Lands in a really good situation. A franchise that knows how to win games. Historically, they've had really good quarterbacks. They know how to develop the quarterback position. I think he could probably start week 1. He could beat out Mitch Trubisky. That wouldn't surprise me. And you have a ton of weapons. Think about how set up Kenny Pickett is. Not only does he have Najee Harris, great running back, He also has Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, George Pickens, Pat Fryermuth, and then they also drafted Calvin Austin. I mean, there are so many weapons around Kenny Pickett. So I think absolutely you can take him anywhere from the 1.5 onwards, and he is the only quarterback I'm even considering in the first round. Chris Olave went at the 1.7. I think that's fantastic value. Saints traded up to get him. I think Olave complements Jameson, Michael Thomas. Jeez, help me. So my third live stream of the day. I think Chris Olave really does complement Michael Thomas really well. And I think they're going to both be really successful in this offense. And Jameis Winston being the quarterback, we've seen him create multiple fantasy relevant players. Olave is also stepping into a situation where he's not battling for target share. I mean, him and Michael Thomas are both very necessary to this offense. So I think he's also another player that is going to step into a really, really good situation. I'm just going to talk about some of these picks. Jahan Dotson at the 1.8. I understand it. I understand it because of the draft capital that Jahan Dotson received in the real NFL draft. However, I think I am probably still going to be taking Sky Moore over Jahan Dotson. Let me just double check. And of course, guys, this will change. I need to take a day and really digest everything. But I am probably going to be taking Sky Moore, and Christian Watson's the one where I just don't know. But I think Dotson absolutely should be a first round pick. I just don't know if I'm taking him over Kenny Pickett or over Watson, Sky, or Pickens. I still need to figure that out. I'm definitely taking Sky over him though. Then we see Christian Watson off the board. I'll say this again. I don't really fully understand why Watson was the wide receiver that they went after, because Watson has a lot of development that he needs to do. I say it again. He had the worst career drop rate of any wide receiver coming into this draft. It was over 12%. And the wide receiver that you really want for Aaron Rodgers is someone that he can trust, someone who has solid hands. And Christian Watson is not the best pass catcher. He is absolutely an athletic freak, and he should be a first-round pick. But I don't fully understand this for Green Bay. It felt like they were probably the one team I thought to myself probably should pass on Christian Watson, because Aaron Rodgers is almost 40 years old. Will Watson be on the same timeline? Will he develop quickly enough? Will he improve as a route runner? I agree, Jeremy. You said Pax should have went with Pickens. I agree. I definitely think Pickens should have been the pick. But still, Christian Watson should be a first-round pick in rookie drafts because of the draft capital, because of the quarterback he's connected to. No doubt. I'm not saying Christian Watson shouldn't be in the first round. I love the Sky Moore pick there at the 111. Huge hands, really reliable wide receiver. He would have even made more sense for me in Green Bay, but I like that he's landed in KC. And then Pickens, if you draft George Pickens, guys, you got to be prepared to wait on him, okay? You got to be prepared to wait, because he is in one of the worst spots when it comes to competing for target share. I love George Pickens. I love him as a talent, but it's going to take him a little while to establish himself, all right? Competing targets with Claypool, Deontay, Najee, Pat Fryermuth. This is not a Treylon Burks situation where he steps in and is automatically the most targeted player within his offense. But I love the talent, so I'm okay with the pick there. Brendo says, when is the right time to target Drake London in a startup Superflex? We actually just did a startup. Okay, hold on. That is way too high for David Bell. This is too high for David Bell, guys. And I'm saying this because I genuinely want to help you in your drafts. let's talk about this for a second. This is too high for David Bell. Doesn't really get the draft capital necessary to justify him here at the 2-1. I mean, this is almost a first-round pick. There's a lot of other wide receivers on the board that I'm taking over David Bell. I like the landing spot. I think it's a great landing spot. But I want to take David Bell at the end of the second. Like the 2-7 to the 2-10. I don't want to take him at the 2-1 because I feel like there's a big tier difference between him and some of the other guys on the board. For example, Alec Pierce's. I mean, you could even throw Jalen Tolbert in there. But even some of the running backs I would consider over David Bell. Definitely some of the quarterbacks I'm considering over David Bell. Yeah, I think that's too early. There goes Desmond Ridder and Malik Willis off the board. Desmond Ridder probably has the better chance to start year 1 over Malik Willis. So Malik Willis are at the 2-3. You know, you do have to be aware that you might not see instant return on that pick. So if you're okay with that, then you can make that move. If you like the talent, you like the upside, but just be aware you might not see return on that Malik Willis pick as a rookie. There goes James Cook at the 2-4. You know, I think that can make sense. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I don't think James Cook is going to step in and be the workhorse in this offense. I think he's going to be part of a rotation. I know he was drafted in the 2nd round, but it was also the second to last pick in the 2nd round. So it's just, you could easily call it a 3rd round pick if you wanted to. I don't think he has the body type to be a workhorse running back. I don't think his body's going to last if he does that. And let's not forget that Buffalo really wanted to sign J.D. McKissic. I think James Cook is their J.D. McKissic. He's not a workhorse. I don't think this means that now Devin Singletary is not, going to have a workload. The way I view it, James Cook, 40% of the snaps. Same with Devin Singletary, 40% of the snaps. And then you're still going to see Zach Moss with that 10 to 15% of snaps there. We see John Mechie off the board. I think that makes sense. He got really good draft capital, lands in a spot where he makes a lot of sense for the Houston Texans offense. He offers something that what they had, he offers something new, right? Brandon Cooks is that speedy guy. That is not what John Mechie is. He cannot stretch the field like that, but he can play in the middle. He can be your Hunter Renfrow, right? He's that type of player. So with Brevin Jordan, who hopefully will develop, Nico Collins, a big body on the outside, and Brevin Jordan stretching the field. Brandon Cooks stretching the field. I think John Mechie is in a really great spot. There goes Dameon Pierce at the 2-7. I'm not so certain. I don't think that this is a reach. I don't think Dameon Pierce at the 2-7 is a reach. But I think there are wide receivers I'm probably still drafting over him. He landed in a very favorable spot. Who's doing rookie draft soon? By the way, shout out to the 38 people watching. Huge love. Drop a like for your boy if you have not yet. I'm out here doing my best. Rashad White. Yep, I think it makes sense to take a shot on some of these guys. There goes Isaiah Spiller. Again, there are still wide receivers that I'm taking over these running backs that just went off the board. But if these are truly your guys and you want to take a shot on them, then I'm not going to tell you not to. Isaiah Spiller definitely landed in a very favorable spot. There's a lot of running backs in that room. I don't think Austin Eckler is really going to face a lot of competition for touches, especially a team that really wants to win now. But I think Spiller is a really, really good backup for the Chargers. Whereas I think there are wide receivers still on the board that could make impacts as rookies. Day one, RTS says, I'm in a rookie draft right now. I love it. Josh says, I've got the 1-2 in a rookie startup. Not sure if I should try and trade out of it for picks in the vet startup draft. You got a 1-2. So you have the 1-2 in a rookie draft or a startup draft? SPB says, I don't see Spiller and Damian hype, to be honest. Yeah, like I said, I think there was wide receivers I'm still going to draft over these 3 running backs that were on the board. But, wow. And I also think Sam Howell, yeah, that's too high. Guys, there's still a lot of talented players on the board. There's still the Wandales. There's still the Tyquan who got 2nd round draft capital. Alec Pierce. How is Alec Pierce still out there? There's a couple running backs even that I'm still taking over Sam Howell at this point. I think Sam Howell, at best, you should be taking Sam Howell at the end of the 3rd rounds. Sam Howell is not a 2nd round pick in rookie drafts anymore. 5th round draft capital, historically, almost no quarterbacks. Like, the percentage chance that Sam Howell becomes a relevant fantasy quarterback is probably less than 5%. 5th round quarterbacks, it's not good. And I'm a Washington fan, and I'm saying this. I mean, keep in mind, we saw multiple punters go off the board before Sam Howell, guys. Multiple punters. So that should tell you how the NFL kind of views Sam Howell. So end of the 3rd at best is when you should be reaching for him. All right, there goes Wandale off the board along with Alec Pierce. Again, I love Alec Pierce. I've been advocating for him. I think he got better draft capital than I thought he was going to get, and the landing spot is great. I mean, he goes into a situation where he is needed in the offense, and he's attached to a quarterback who can get him the ball. So for me, Alec Pierce should have gone at 2.7. I think he should have been 2.7. He's probably in contention all the way up at 2.4 for me. So I think that's a huge steal. Wandale at the 2.12 becomes really good value. I just have no idea what the hell they're going to do with him and Kadarius Toney. There goes Jelani Woods. Interesting that Jelani goes ahead of Trey McBride. I feel like probably I'm still going Trey McBride in that situation. But to be clear, I think most tight ends are... I don't think that we're going to see a Pat Freiermuth breakout from any rookie tight end this year. I could be wrong, but I'm really struggling to see a scenario where one of these tight ends make a huge contribution to their team as a rookie. And there might be one, but I couldn't really tell you exactly who it's going to be. So I think I'm probably going to wait on tight ends until the 4th round if I'm going to, take a shot on one of them, because I'm not sure that any of them make a huge impact as a rookie. There goes Samir and Khalil Shakir. Shakira. Love the landing spot for Shakir over there in Buffalo. However, there is a lot of wide receivers he now has to compete with. They signed Jamison Crowder. Isaiah Spiller is there. Sorry. I'm losing my mind. How many streams have I done this week? Why can I not think of his name? Anyway, the other slot guy. Yes, this is a super flex rookie draft. There goes Algier. I did love Algier's landing spot, to be honest. Atlanta. I mean, he didn't get very high draft capital, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was buried in the depth chart, but at least there's a clear pathway. Isaiah McKenzie is the name I was trying to think of. There you go. RTS says some maniacs split their startups into 2 drafts. One for rookie, one for vets. Oh. See, okay, what I don't understand about that...
Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency.
My apartment might be on fire right now.
Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency. Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency.
I don't see any fire anywhere.
Evacuate now. Evacuate as directed.
I'm looking outside. I don't see no fire. I'm gonna mute me for a second.
As directed. Evacuate as directed. Emergency.
All right, well, this is how I die.
Evacuate as directed. Evacuate as directed.
This is how I die. It was nice knowing you guys,
Emergency.
but hey, at least I go out doing something that I love.
Evacuate as directed.
You know what I mean?
Evacuate as directed.
I'd rather go out this way than being choked to death or... There we go. Finally. Oh my God. I'll tell you what. So some of you guys might be like, why the hell did you not leave during that fire alarm? But when I lived in LA, we moved into a new building and the fire alarm went off like every single week. And it went off for no reason. So I feel like every time I hear a fire alarm, I just assume that it's actually nothing. And even in this apartment, like fire alarms go off at least twice a month. And we never leave because it's never a fire. Like someone pulls a fire alarm or something. So I've officially... Basically, what I'm trying to say is if there's ever a fire in my apartment, I will die. Like, we will all burn. Because the fire alarm goes off so often, and everyone's like, you know what? It's not a fire. I'm going to stay in my apartment. All right, I'm catching up with the chat. You guys are so funny. Get out. Well, everything okay? Save yourself, bro. Oh, my God. All right, he's going to head out. You guys are actually so funny. Good call by the alarm. 3.9 is a good spot to evacuate this year's rookie draft. Oh my God, you guys are the best. Cal says, I've had multiple false alarms in my building. Probably nothing, but worth checking on it. What's up, Tyler? Kyle says, I think it won a game of Apex Legends. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Hey, guys, 58 people watching the stream. It's been a long night. Been doing a bunch of streams. I've really appreciated all the love, all the support, all the subs. Hey, okay. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing, Football Fanatic. If you guys could drop a like for me on this video. Almost 70 people watching. Let's see if we can get to 45 likes right now. If you drop a like, you can probably help me get there. Fanatic says the 108 or Brandon Ayuk straight up. To be honest, I think I'm going to go 108. I like Brandon Ayuk, but I'm not convinced that Debo is done there, especially now with the draft being done. It's going to be much more difficult to get a trade done, and the Niners don't seem like they really want to trade him. And at the 108, I mean, I can get guys like maybe Olave, maybe Pickett, Sky Moore. So I do think I am going to take the 108 over Brandon Ayuk personally. T. Murphy says, so you probably already talked about this, but how do we feel about Drake London and where he should go in Superflex rookie drafts? So here's how I will describe it at this point. I have two sets of rankings that I've developed. One where I've evaluated players as talents and as prospects. And the other where I will rank people where I consider their talent, but I also consider their landing spot and draft capital. Draft capital, landing spot, and then talent, okay? So after knowing these landing spots, what I really need to figure out is in 1 year from now, is there a talent that I love that might not be as valuable because they're in a bad situation? Is there a talent that I'm not obsessed with, but they are stepping into a huge target share? For example, Drake London. I'm not in love with him, but he's probably going to get 140 targets as a rookie. So his value, purely based off of volume, is going to be there. So it's a long-winded answer for me to have said, I have 5 wide receivers that I think could be drafted as the first wide receiver in this year's draft, rookie drafts. I genuinely have 5 guys that I have as a 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E. And that typically is never the case. Last year, it was Jamar Chase. It was easily Jamar Chase. But now, this year, I genuinely think that there are 5 wide receivers that you can make a case for, a good case for, as the first wide receiver off the board in rookie drafts. Drake London's going to get a shit ton of targets. Same with Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks lands in a spot where he has a competent quarterback. No A.J. Brown. Bobby Trees is going to be injured to start the year. And I think he's a very talented player. Then you've got Garrett Wilson, who is, probably the safest floor. I don't think he has the highest ceiling, but he probably has the safest floor as a player. Jameson Williams, who I think has the most upside of anyone in the class. And then Chris Olave, who is also stepping into a situation where he and Michael Thomas both, they need each other. They help each other. They don't take away from each other. So I'm not worried about his target share either. So in short, I think there are 5 people that you could draft as the first wide receiver. I would say Treylon Burks is the one I currently feel like I should draft as the first wide receiver. But again, I'm not upset if you feel differently, because I do think that there are so many good options as the first wide receiver. Whereas guys like Pickens, who I love Pickens, you guys know that on this channel. You know I'm obsessed with him. I think he's a top 3 wide receiver talent in this class, top 2 wide receiver talent in this class. Purely as a talent, that's what I believe. However, it is really hard to think of a situation where George Pickens is a reliable option in year 1. I mean, going to be facing competition for targets with Najee Harris, who catches the ball, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Pat Freiermuth, who is emerging. Even Calvin Austin's now on this team. So, Pickens is someone that I imagine I will either draft if he falls to me, or I will be sending trade offers for him this time next year because I love the talent, but I think he's going to be a slow burn. So that was like the most long-winded answer, but I hope that is helpful. By the way, guys, almost 80 people hanging out with me tonight. Huge love. If you have yet to drop a like, show your boy some love.
You like that? You like that?
And let's see if we can at least get to, 55 likes or something. I think you guys can help me get there with your support. Kyle says, as funny as it is, it's not a joke. I was on the mic with a friend trying to clutch a fire truck outside. I love it. Cajun says, what are some of the top talents to target, you think, at the end of the second round? So at the end of the second round, Alec Pierce, if he is available, then I don't think he should be, but he would be number one on my list. Then I would say if any of these quarterbacks fall, Ritter, Willis, or Corral, I don't think Sam Howell should be a second-round pick. He should probably go into the third, fourth round. That draft capital is atrocious. Then I do think really like end of the second, you can start looking at guys like Dameon Pierce, Rachaad White. Spiller feels more like a third-round pick to me, but I'm not going to argue with someone if they disagree. Those are the kind of guys I'm probably looking at there. Clyde says, I always give a like, but curious what the likes do for the YouTube shows. So Clyde, essentially, if you drop a like, that helps us grow the community. That helps our channel. That helps the algorithm. The more interaction we get with live streams, it helps our algorithm and it helps YouTube push us to other people. So you're basically just helping support the show and helping our channel, supporting us as creators when you drop a like. What's up, Lakers? Kyle says he agrees about London. Football Fanatic says, how far has Rashad Bateman risen for you? I was already really high on Rashad Bateman this offseason. I had him ranked as my wide receiver 23. Okay, he was in this tier 4 for me. And now with this news, now keep in mind I haven't added rookies yet to this ranking. So he'll probably stay around wide receiver 23. I need to add rookies into my regular rankings here soon. But I'm pretty high on him, man. We did a rookie startup draft recently, and I drafted him here at the 512. This is where I drafted Rashad Bateman here in a startup that we just did today. So I'm a huge Bateman fan. I loved the talent, and now I think, 140 targets are now being vacated from the Baltimore office with Hollywood gone. So yeah, I love Rashad Bateman. Kyle says, I almost took Javonte over Chase last year. Very glad I didn't. I'm glad for you that you didn't do that. SB says, thoughts on Matt Corral now that he got drafted to the Panthers? Hey, I like Matt Corral. Is it going to be that hard to beat out Sam Darnold? I don't know. Here's what I'll say. I actually don't know if Matt Corral is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Legitimately, I don't know that. But what I do know is that the Panthers have no hope or belief in Sam Darnold. So, and they're also not going to be a very good team. So if you think about it from a management's perspective, they're like, okay, we got Darnold. Now we need to we have Corral, We need to find out what we have in him, right? Because we don't want to have a top 5 pick in next year's draft and not have started Matt Corral the entire year. They absolutely will give Matt Corral a chance to start somewhere in the season. Is it in the early season? Is it halfway through? I think it will be somewhere in between, because what you don't want is to be a bad team next year for the draft, have all these quarterbacks there. Hey, okay, Mike. Thanks for the sub, Mike. What you don't want to be is a top 5 team in next year's draft and have Matt Corral there, but you don't know what you have in him. So he's absolutely going to get a shot. I think he will get a shot to start this year for sure. Cajun says, you think Tylan Wallace, Baltimore, is worth keeping on a taxi for another season, or is he an easy drop? I definitely think he's worth keeping on Taxi, especially now that Hollywood is gone. Tylan Wallace was someone that I really enjoyed watching his film out of Oklahoma State, right? I could be getting that wrong, but I really enjoyed watching Tylan's film, and I was slightly disappointed by the draft last year for him because I just thought he was going to be buried in the depth chart. Now, he doesn't replace Hollywood. He doesn't have that speed, but I think he's worth keeping on a Taxi for sure. Breyer says retweet on Bateman. I love it. Gator J says all the BS in the world. Give me the fire alarm and a Dynasty startup Mac. Mock. I love it. All right. Well, there's 75 people watching. We just finished the stream. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. This is my third stream of the night. SB says fourth round is definitely a stretch, but he should be third round 100%. I'm assuming you're saying Sam Darnold, and I would agree. David Bell was way too high. I addressed that when it happened. There's just... I mean, David Bell should probably have gone around 3-5. David Bell should be a third-round pick, whether it's 3-1 or whatever you want to justify it as, but that's too high. Helps the algorithm. Kyle says, I imagine the algorithm is how you ended up here. Yeah, I probably. Shout out to the algorithm. By the way, 70 people liking. Let's see if we can get the 50. 70 people watching. Let's see if we can get the 50 likes. If you can't tell, I've lost my head. But help your boy get to 50 likes here on the stream. I would appreciate that. Freak Stomper says, I love Sleeper, but their ADP is horrible. It takes forever to catch up. Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, the fact that they already have everyone's landing spots is pretty impressive. They can definitely get better, but as a fantasy app, as a dynasty app, I think they are the best service out there at this point. Hey. Football Fanatic says, may have been mentioned, but how badly does Brian Robinson hurt Gibson? I think it affects Antonio Gibson, but it doesn't really worry me too much. I think we have to keep in mind that the Washington football team last year, Gibson was in and out with injuries. And I think the reason for this pick with Brian Robinson is more they don't want Gibson to get injured and then not have a true backup. Because Jarrett Patterson was playing that role, but he wasn't really, his skill set wasn't really suited to play that role. If you have Patterson, it's probably a GG's for Jarrett Patterson in the chat. I mean, I don't imagine there's a way that he really becomes fantasy relevant now. So I think it definitely hurts Patterson. I will say this, though. If anyone out there still has hope of Antonio Gibson being a top 5 finish or top 5 upside, then that's unrealistic. But can Antonio Gibson still be a top 12 finish? Yeah, I think he can. But it definitely hurts his upside. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Robinson, takes a couple touchdowns on the goal line either. Bryce says, how did Howell slide so far? Is he worth a stash on a taxi? Oh, you mean slide so far in the NFL draft. How did he slide so far? I don't know. I mean, I said it earlier. There were multiple punters taken before Sam Howell. What does that tell you about how the NFL views him? I mean, when you're sitting on the board and you thought you'd be gone by second, third round, and then you see a punter's name, I don't know what that does to your mental state. You have to be... You use it as motivation, but I don't know, man. I couldn't really answer because I do think Sam Howell is just as good of a quarterback as Matt Corral. So I don't understand how he slid that far. Football says, why is Walker not the 102? Do you not like the Seattle landing spot? No, I do like the Seattle landing spot. I have actually been advocating it as a very good landing spot for him since it happened. I'm not upset if you take Kenneth Walker at the 102. Someone took him there yesterday, and I said, I think it makes sense. If you need a running back, I'm not upset about it. He steps into a situation in Seattle where historically they have had great running backs, and the run game is the identity of this team. Drew Lock is there, so they obviously want to get the ball out of his hands. No long-term threat there with Rashad Penny. No contract after this. So I like the Kenneth Walker pick. I think you can consider Kenneth Walker. I think I am going to go one of the wide receivers over him, but I would say 1-3 onwards. If you want to do 1-2, fine, but I would say 1-3 onwards feels really comfy for me for Kenneth Walker. Freak Stomper says, I hope Elijah Mitchell doesn't tank. Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest boost of confidence to see the Niners spend one of their first picks on a running back, which felt like a completely unnecessary pick. So I am a little bit worried about Mitchell. I still think he's going to be the guy. I don't think his job is in jeopardy, but at minimum, there's a fire on his ass now. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to be the guy. So there is pressure on him. But I would not advise ever panic selling a player. So don't do that with Elijah Mitchell. We got to 50 likes. Huge love. Appreciate you guys. Let's see if we can get to 60. Why not? Drop a like. Show some love. Kyle says, based on how similar the wide receiver value is at the top of the draft, would you trade back from the 102? 1,000% I would trade back from the 102. If I can move from the 102 to the 106, or I would say the 106 or the 107 is the farthest I would go back, but 106 feels a little bit better. And let's say I can get an early second or, future draft capital, I would absolutely consider it. Definitely. Stephen Day says, appreciate the content, man. Keep grinding, but get some rest too. I definitely need to take the latter. I need some rest. But I appreciate the love. Freak Stomper says, who's Bell competing against People Jones and, well, Amari Cooper is there, right? So can't forget about Amari Cooper being there. And you also have to keep in mind that he will not have Deshaun Watson for a time period. We assume that he's probably going to be suspended. But I'm not anti-David Bell. I am for David Bell. I love the landing spot. I actually said that on our Day 2 winners. I named him a winner. But I still think there are a lot of talents I am taking over David Bell at this point. So we also can't rule the fact that they could re-sign more wide receivers there in Cleveland. I don't think they would look at their wide receiver room and think, yeah, we're good. Keep hearing the possibility of Jarvis Landry returning, maybe Odell Beckham. He's been in conversation. There's a lot of unsigned wide receivers, guys. Free agent wide receivers. Let's have a look, because there's still quite a few. But I am not anti-David Bell at all. I'm just anti-David Bell at the 2-1. Wide receivers that are still unsigned: Julio Jones, Jarvis Landry, Will Fuller. We keep hearing about Will Fuller to Cleveland. T.Y. Hilton, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Deshaun Jackson, Danny Amendola, OBJ, Adam Humphries, Tajay Sharp. Most of the other guys are pretty much irrelevant. Same with Tajay, to be honest. But still a lot of undrafted guys out there. Laker says Brian Robinson is better than Gibson, just slower. I don't know that he's a better running back than Gibson. He's not more explosive. He's not got better acceleration. He's not got better twitch. He probably has better vision. But I don't think I would say he's better than Gibson. Stephen Day says, I think no quarterback taken after third this year is even worth a stash. Worst case, pick him up when the other quarterback goes down or gets cut. I would tend to disagree just because of Sam Howell. I do think Sam Howell is worth a stash. If we're talking about guys that went after day 2. But outside of Sam Howell, I would agree. Gavin says 49ers always run running back by committee. It's still Mitchell's job. but they are trying to get good compliment with Sermon not working out. Definitely very true. Gator says opinion on White going to Tampa Bay. I liked Rachaad White to Tampa Bay. I think it makes a lot of sense. And if I'm a Leonard Fournette owner, I'm not worried, but I am, at least I have one eye looking at it. You know, I'm like, okay. I got a lot of points from target share last year. And Rachaad White's a really good pass catching back. So it's interesting. It's very intriguing. Fantasy Football Fanatic says J.K. Dobbins has to be a big winner of the draft. They didn't bring anyone to compete. I agree. They did bring in Tyler Beatty. I love Tyler Beatty. But the role is 100% J.K. Dobbins. There's no reason to worry about J.K. We've been very pro J.K. Dobbins on this channel and been advocating for people to buy him. So I hope you guys were able to do that before the draft. But yeah, I mean, you have to feel pretty damn good, don't you, if you own JK. Kyle says, RIP to anyone who thought they could own the 49ers backfield by grabbing both Sermon and Mostert last year. Oh my gosh, that is actually so true. A big RIP to anyone who went Sermon. I mean, people were going Sermon in the first round. That is rough, isn't it? Hey guys, 93 people watching. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you're here, maybe it's because of the algorithm. Maybe you like Dynasty football just as much as the rest of the community here. Could you show your boy some love and drop a like?
You like that? You like that?
That just helps us reach some more people, helps grow the channel. Appreciate all the love tonight, the subs, the likes. Clyde says, my Chicago should consider a free agent wide receiver. Yes, please, Chicago. I mean, if Chicago could sign Jarvis Landry, that would feel pretty good. Even Will Fuller. I guess that would be a weird compliment to Darnell Mooney. But Landry would make a lot of sense in Chicago. Same with Julio. OBJ could definitely make sense in Chicago as well. They need someone. I really feel like the Bears are big losers in this draft, to be honest. I feel like their biggest need was offensive line and weapons for Justin Fields, because I know they went defensive, but honestly, I don't give one shit if you're a better defensive team next year and Justin Fields doesn't improve. Literally the only thing that should matter for Chicago right now is giving Justin Fields everything that he needs to succeed. And they really didn't do that this draft. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Every team can sign wide receivers, so nobody's value is set. That's very true. Chicago is doing Fields such a disservice. I agree. Totally. Bryce says, I feel like Hal is a stash with how injury-prone Carson is. I agree. I would agree. You should definitely stash Hal, and he should be drafted, just not in the second, probably the third. Keyshawn Vaughn is the starter. Imagine. I love it, Gator. Thanks for hanging. DK Metcalf or the 103 and the 107. I'm gonna go quantity over quality there. No, sorry, I meant the other way around. I'm going quality over quantity. If you could put DK Metcalf in this year's draft, he would be easily the 101, probably over Breece Hall for me as a talent. So I think it's relatively good value, but I'm probably going to lean DK there. You know, yeah, that's really tough, man. I think I'm leaning DK. Would I do that trade? Would I take the 103 and the 107 for DK? I mean, I could get Jameson Williams and Olave, but it doesn't mean that they will ever be DK. That's tough, man. I think I'm taking DK still. All right, so the question is from Bryce, who is a dark horse of this rookie draft? I'll give you a couple. At running back, Beatty comes to mind from Baltimore. I'm only going to give one player, but there's so many that I could say. At wide receiver, Kyle Phillips comes to mind. At quarterback, Malik Willis, because a lot of people are saying you shouldn't even draft him in rookie drafts now. Tight end, Jelani Woods. Yep. Besides the New York Jets, who's the biggest winner of the draft? I would say put Baltimore in that category as well. They got a lot better and they took best player available. But also Kansas City. Kansas City didn't do much on offense except for adding Sky Moore, which is huge. But defensively, they got so much better. Trent McDuffie, in my eyes, was a top 12 talent in the draft. He is huge for them. They also got George Karlaftis, who I think is probably a top 5 edge rusher in the draft. And then they just kept improving defense throughout the draft. So Kyle says, I think Derrick Henry is underrated right now. Is that just me? To be honest, I don't really want Derrick Henry on any of my teams right now. I said that 1 year ago when we were doing Dynasty on our other channel. I said, I don't want Derrick Henry on any of my teams. And that's just because I think the breakdown was coming. I think it is still coming. I think you can almost see a change of guard for this team. You know, I mean, this team is not as good as it was. It's not. Ryan Tannehill is there, but A.J. Brown is gone. Bobby Trees is recovering. This team got worse this offseason. They really did. Derrick Henry's going to be fine if you are a win now team, but really, unless I am truly competing for a championship, then I do not want Derrick Henry on my team. Did the Steelers intentionally make Claypool call the Pickens pick? For what reason? Maybe. It's pretty funny though, isn't it? Breyer says, how much higher on James Cook? I think it's a good landing spot. It is a very good landing spot, obviously. But I am not the part of the Dynasty community who thinks, man, James Cook is going to be the guy there. He's going to get a bunch of touches. He's going to be the workhorse. I think he's going to be in the rotation. So it helps him because he's in a great offense in that rotation. But yeah, I would disagree with anyone who says James Cook is a first round pick. And that's what I would say. Ryan says, my reasoning is that I think the Seahawks offense might be the worst possible for a receiver. And it sounds like they're going to re-sign him. I can respect that. You got to go with your gut. I think I'm still going DK though. All right, guys. I love the draft. I love the draft season. You know, draft day is my favorite day of the year. I've been doing multiple live streams after each day and have really, really appreciated the support. Have really appreciated all the likes and the subscribes and the super chats. I've been busting my ass because I want to. Like, I enjoy this. And I hope that you guys have really enjoyed the content, the coverage. And I hope that, the subscribe, I think it'll be worth your time. And the reason I'm wrapping this up is because, again, the past 3 days I've had 4 hours of sleep. And I'm really tired. And I need to eat. And I can actually feel my... whatever this is, it's starting to hurt. Because I've been really just talking nonstop for 3 days. But I wanted to say a huge thank you. The first rookie draft stream that we did today, we made history. We had over 100 likes on that stream. I didn't think that was going to happen. And it just shows that there's a lot of people who love Dynasty content. And it's always humbling anytime someone signs up to Patreon as well. So Breyer, I know that you signed up today to play in our Dynasty leagues over on Patreon. I just want to say again a huge thank you. I'll send you a message here soon. If anyone is at all interested in Patreon, I've just pasted the link in the chat. Patreon is a great place for you to support our channel, but not only to support our channel in a monetary way, you also get some cool things in return. Like, for example, you can play in a league that we host. In the Dynasty League, you can play with myself and my co-host, as well as our community. You can get unlimited advice, one-on-one advice, okay, through Close Friends Plus, where you get the fantasy hotline. You can play in a redraft league with us. You can play in a Dynasty League with us. You can play in both if you like. You can get access to a Patreon-only live stream once per week, access to our rankings, receive analysis on your mocks and real drafts from us, advice on trade offers that you receive. The fantasy hotline is essentially a one-on-one direct line to myself and my co-host where we give you advice. If anyone out there is watching, I know there are people who are watching who have signed up to our Patreon. I want to say such a massive thank you. You have no idea how rewarding it is to spend, 60 to 80 hours a week building something that you love and then have people believe in it enough to sign up and support you. Like, that's a feeling that I don't know how to describe it. It's an incredible feeling to have people believe in you that way. So thank you so much. Seriously, your support is it's so much appreciated. And I'm really excited for all the leagues. We've got the Charlie League. The Charlie League is drafting in 9 days. Shout out to all the boys there. The Delta League, drafting in 11 days. I'm excited for that one. The Echo League in 15 days and the Foxtrot League in 18 days. So I'm excited to live stream these drafts for all you guys. I love getting to do this, honestly. So thank you guys for helping make that dream a reality. We do have a Discord. I will paste that link in the chat now. It's also the first link in the description of the video. But guys, what a week. What a weekend. I can't say anything else other than a huge thank you. Man, sometimes, I know we're a small channel, but it's just really cool to see moments where you feel like something that you're so passionate about and something that you put literally all your time and effort into, to see it rewarded is just, it's really cool. And I just want to say a huge thank you again to anyone who has subscribed to the channel, who has signed up to Patreon, who has liked our streams. That stream we had earlier today, when we had like almost 150 people watching at one time. That's wild. And if you don't know, the reason we really started this channel, well, this is actually our second channel. So if you're new, you might not know that either. So we have a redraft channel. You can check out the redraft channel there. I just pasted it in the link in the chat. That channel will start popping off towards, closer towards season, where we cover redraft, DFS, that kind of stuff. Hey, Steve. Thank you for the sub. But anyway, the reason we started these channels and this company, I guess you could call it, back in March of 2020, COVID hit, blah, blah, blah. It's not a sob story, but I lost my job. So did my co-host. We both lost our job. We always talked about starting a podcast talking about fantasy football. And we were like, you know what? Let's just do it for our home league. So we started a podcast originally. And all we did was interview our home league about their drafts, about their team, about trades that happen in the league. And people started to like it. And then we did a podcast, and then we switched to now doing full-time YouTube content creation. And that was less than 2 years ago. And we made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we just, every week we put 60 to 80 hours in trying to get the most out of it. And anyway, I love doing this. So thank you for the likes, for the support. It's always humbling anytime someone, you know, can see the effort that you put in and then I guess just acknowledges it. So huge love. Seriously, I appreciate every single one of you. I keep ranting. I feel like that Vikings running back who was making that pick, and they were like, can you say the pick? Come on, hurry up. But anyway, that's the end of the stream, guys. Drop a like on your way out. I might do some mock drafts tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. Join the Discord if you want to be a part of them. I am so grateful for all of you. Have a good rest of your night. I will see you tomorrow. If you haven't watched it already, I did release a video talking about day 2 winners. And then I will also release a day 3 winners. I will record that here soon. Now, if you're looking to watch the day 2 winners for Dynasty purposes, you can go ahead and watch that video there. But guys, I really appreciate the love. Yes, we are in Sydney, Australia, but we're both American. My co-host is in Fiji right now. He just got married last week. But anyway, if I keep talking, I'm going to lose my voice. Huge love, guys. Huge. Huge.
Team about to get the gas, get the gas, get the gas. Until it's over two.
Woo!
Until it's over two. About to get the
Thanks
gas.
for the sub, Woo. Guys, huge love. We will see you guys soon. I'll probably be doing at least one mock draft tomorrow. There'll be content coming out every day, as always. Those who are in our follower leagues, get ready to draft here soon next week. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.